My grandfather told me that a good farmer does not make an important decision without considering the impact on his grandchildren. And for us as a nation to be leaving future generations these impoverished soils that at one point were the envy of the world is really sad.
Soils and plant community basically live as a symbiotic relationship. The soil can't live without plants, and plants can't live without the soil. And what the soil receives from the plants is carbon. And that carbon runs the microbial machinery that frees up nutrients from the soil environment. Much of what has been lost is the metabolic carbon. It's the carbon that really drives rapid microbial activity. And there's a huge cost associated with that.
In this country, we can produce a tremendous amount of commodity foods at very low prices initially, but the long-term price is going to be maybe more than we want to pay.
Farming is going to face some challenges in a changing climate. There's going to be an increase in the amount of extreme climate conditions, so extended drought periods, extended very wet periods. So having soils that are resilient and capable of handling those type of extreme conditions are going to be important.
I do think it's really important as a young person to be continuing to focus on ways to be resilient, and I think that's really important for larger scale farmers and pretty much anyone who is interested in food, which we all should be since we all eat.
Charcoal is generated by heating under low oxygen conditions. It yields a very recalcitrant, carbon-rich material that is also very good at absorbing organic carbon in the soil environment.
The charcoal really seems to make plants happy. They just are more adaptable, they're just solid.
Charcoal that is intended to be applied to soil is often called biochar. And biochar application to soil can have a number of positive effects. Charcoal can increase the water holding capacity of soil. It can increase cation exchange capacity. In the process, increases nutrient retention in surface soils. It can stimulate microbial activity. It can absorb organic matter and create sort of a seed for humic material formation in the soil environment.
What we want to do is we want to promote bigger trees, healthier trees, faster. And simplest way to do that is remove the low vigor, the smaller trees, the ones that are growing poorly. And that will help the fuel and the fire problem, that will help the nutrient balance and the water issues, and it'll create more resilient, more robust, healthier trees.
Forests are overstocked and are more susceptible to stand replacing fires. Is there a way we can get in, harvest a portion of these small diameter trees that create ladder fuels and allow fires to jump into the crowns? Can we do some of the sort of thinning that would recreate more of a natural stand structure and then do something valuable with that small diameter wood? And one of the possibilities is to convert it into biochar.
We have forests all across the country, an estimated 100 million acres that are in need of forest restoration, that have excess biomass that needs to be processed and taken out of our forests. And the question is, what do we do with that? If we burn it, that just leaves all that CO2 to go back into the atmosphere. But if we can convert it into charcoal and produce a product that could have influence on our food production for generations, then it's a true investment in our food systems based off of the problems that we currently have. We could be addressing forest health issues, our fire danger, as well as then investing in food security for future generations.
In this time of climate change, I think we're going to be putting our food crops under greater stress, And if in the process of making biochar, sequestering carbon, and making our food crops more resilient to these stresses of climate change, it could be huge in terms of how we feed ourselves in the coming decades.